The title of this call is going to be Standards and Expectations. And so we're really fortunate to have the Director of Business Development and Revenue Growth for Ringba, Shanti Beaurline, again, Director of Business Development at Ringba and Revenue Growth. And really what she does is she oversees the publisher operations at the company. And so what we want to do, we're designing this call to be part of the Integrity Connect Bootcamp when agents get started on the platform. One of the things that we found out, we've now been doing this for 90 days. And during those 90 days, being fully integrated with the Ringba platform, we've learned a lot about what's working really great, what's not working so great, what we can do a lot better at, some blind spots we had going into it, what agents are doing that are performing really well, that are highly profitable, and then some mistakes that agents are making right off the bat and bad habits that they're getting into. And we've seen people correct it, turn it around, become really profitable at this. And so people get to this information one of two ways. Either it's right up front in the boot camp, if that's where you're at and you haven't even started yet, you're going to see this. The other way is as a source of remedial training. So they've probably gotten to a place in the system where their performance isn't the way that it should be. And so this is a form of remedial training to help them get back on track. Now, if that's you and you're here for that, understand that if you've been paused or temporarily paused by integrity, that is not a punitive thing. It's just a corrective course of action to get you the right tools and resources and standards and expectations to make this profitable for you. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure you can make as much money as possible doing this and stay in good form on the platform. Because if you exceed the standards or if you don't meet the expectations, you can't stay on the platform. So there's certain rules that we're going to outline here. We're going to be very clear about it. And we're going to make sure that people leave this call with clarity and confidence of what to do, what not to do, if you're doing it wrong, how not to do that, how to do it right. We're going to cover all of that stuff. So, Shanti, thank you for being on with me. Really excited about this. Now, one of the things is, Shanti, that we throw around a lot is the word publishers, media buyers. Can you give us an idea of how this inbound call traffic works? And what the roles are, and we can kind of go from there.
Sure. And thank you, Trey. I'm really happy to be here as well. It's been an exciting 90 days and, watching this grow has been, just a pure joy, and you are a joy to work with. So I'm very happy to be here.
You are too.
Sure. So yeah, just to understand where these calls are coming from. So Ringba is at its core a marketing analytics call tracking and routing platform. So our technology has been basically built and engineered over 15 years as a pioneer in the space for call marketing. And, really dialing in folks' marketing campaigns so they can see the ROI. They can do all sorts of cool predictive routing with the technology. So our marketing partners that are publishers in this context are the ones generating the calls. So they are our longtime clients who've been using our platform for many years and are operating their marketing campaigns on this platform. So they're they've built these sort of generic branded, insurance entities online, and they run thousands of meta ads, on Facebook, on YouTube, and they're really, really masters at their craft. A lot of these are our famous GOAT award winners who are, generating in the hundreds of millions a year in policies for companies. So we're fueling some of the largest insurance carriers, FMOs, and agencies out there with these calls. And it's coming from quite literally, a company that is spending money, hard dollars on these ads and creative, and have just like cultivated the best way that you can possibly get across the benefits of towards the consumer within a short period of time to get them to click and call in.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because um, there's tons of traffic sources for this. There's meta ads, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, search marketing, any platform you could think of to drive traffic. The difference between these leads and like a data lead that people are used to buying with us is the call to action is to call. It's not to fill something out. And so, talk a little bit about the urgency that needs to be created in order for a call for somebody on the other end of the ad to actually click to call rather than fill something out and wait for us to call them.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have seen commercials on TV that last 30 to 60 seconds are on YouTube. Often on Facebook, you have about 10 to 15 seconds to really grab their attention with some imagery and really you just want to highlight like any marketing campaign, what the benefits are, what the consumer is going to get at the end, and try to appeal to their how this is going to help their family at that time so that they're not leaving their family with a burden at the end. So it is focused around what the benefits are
Got it. Now,
generally.
one of the things I want to make clear on this is what the ads are and what they're not. People that have been running these calls for a while, they'll get people that'll call in that think that it's some sort of free benefit or a free 40,000 or a free 25,000. Why is that happening exactly, do you think?
So we have a massive compliance team, and we're always ensuring that the ads are compliant, and we do not allow any language that says it's free. A lot of the times the consumers will assume it is anytime they hear a word benefit. Often they think that it's some sort of of giveaway. So that's really something that is just would need to be educated by the agents at the time of the call to overcome that. But
Got
this
it.
the customers are, within that demographic, and they are looking for this, type of product.
Yeah. And I think what's happening too, Shanti, that people need to understand is even when we would run just pure data leads, Facebook will show the same type of lead to a person that clicks on that type of lead. And so they might have seen language in some other ad that said free. They might continually get hit up with advertisements about final expense insurance and just, you know, combine the two. But what you're saying is your compliance department is making sure that the ads are legit, that people are being told the right thing. And we've posted, and I'm going to post in this boot camp one of the videos that the prospects do see. And you'll see in that video, it might look like they won the lottery, but in no way does it say free. It's just trying to create the urgency to get somebody to call in to make sure that their family is protected when they die, regardless of how much people think it costs. The one thing we do know after running this for 90 days, and then another 90 days before that with our test groups, is that when people call in, they're not confused about the fact that this is money that they would leave behind to make sure their family isn't burdened. And so just I want everybody to keep that in mind. We will post copies of the ads. We want you guys to see it. We want it to be transparent. And we want you to have confidence that a company the size of Ringba with the breadth and the scope and size and influence in the industry is our biggest advocate on that. That's one of the things that we have in our favor with making sure that the ads are compliant and that they're uh, doing what they say they're going to do. Is you guys have a ton of things in place, right, Shanti, to make sure that we're not getting shady traffic. And if you find publishers like that, what do you do?
Yeah, we have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to that. The marketers that we're working with are professionals, and like I said, they've had to jump through extreme compliance hoops, working a lot of the time with direct with carriers, And we're confident in them as a Ringba marketing partner, but also we have all sorts of AI that's listening to the ads, and we have scripts that like the the publishers put on the websites themselves to so that we know that the call came from an actual inbound call from a specific website. So we do have a lot of technology in that respect to be able to confirm that it was in fact an inbound call. And we do it the best, probably above industry standard, and if not for leading in the compliance arena when it comes to any other
Yeah,
call.
there's no competitor, there's nobody out there that's more at the forefront and leading in that arena than Ringba. That's what makes Ringba very special. So I want everybody to understand and have confidence in that. The other thing I want to talk about is we're going to talk to agents a lot about this metric called revenue per call. Can you explain what that is and why that's important and how that can affect the quality of calls that you're getting?
Sure. So when you place a media buy on YouTube or Meta, you're effectively paying for that impression for every time that ad is shown on a screen. And the most important metric in call marketing to a media buyer is a RPC. That's considered revenue per call. What they're going to earn for every click on that website, click to call, that is going to ultimately be driven to an agent on the other line. And they've broken it down to a science as far as they know how many times this ad's going to be shown on the screen before they'll click through to the website and then to the click to call button. So in order, so they know what it costs, the range of what it will cost to generate a call. And so that's why it's that metric, revenue per call, per raw call, is, driven by so that they don't lose money on their media buy effectively.
Right. And when you talk about publishers, how many publishers does Ringba have? And who are these people? Are these huge companies? Are they mostly small businesses? Are they people that, is it one guy that's driving all the traffic, or is it 10,000 guys doing a little bit?
No, we don't. We don't see the need to work with 10. If we worked with 1,000 partners, that would be far too much of a headache to maintain consistency and call quality. So we work with probably maybe about 50 partners, 50 to 60 that we have optimized those campaigns, and those will be scaled across Facebook, YouTube, CTV, and some of them are very specialized in their craft and their type of media platform. So I would say at any given time between 24 to 100 on the high end.
Got it. So this isn't an infinite source of people. These are highly vetted professionals that come
Exactly.
through the door,
Yes.
which means we have to protect them. Meaning, and this is the point I'm trying to get across. If you're an agent and you start on our platform, if you take 30 calls and you don't take any past 90 seconds, that means you don't pay and these publishers don't get paid. And so let's just think about this. If you take 10 calls and out of those 10 calls, you take one past 90 seconds, then that publisher's going to get paid $5 per call. Now, that's not sustainable. That means in order for that publisher to make money, they got to generate that call for $4. How much of a quality of a call can you generate for $4? See what I mean? But if your RPC is $20, that means that publishers can send you calls that cost them 17 to generate, which means that's probably a much more targeted call. What's a better way to say that, Shanti? A much more
Yeah,
intentional call.
Yeah, I would say, where the creative is intentionally, calling out that it is an insurance policy, that there are, costs associated with it. a lot of popular ad, copy is for as low as $1 to $2 per day.
Right.
You can get this benefit. So the ads that do relay that messaging, it will cost a minimum $20 per call, at least, to get that call through. So right now you're kind of getting a blend of a mixture of the more, the ads where there's, highlighting mostly the benefits, and also, some of the ads that are, that do communicate that there's a cost involved.
Yeah, that
Because
totally makes sense.
not, yeah.
Because what the other point I want to get across too, Shanti, is like the more calls you take, and listen, guys, from an agent perspective, what I would want you guys to understand is if you can't sell insurance outbounding, this isn't a magic, like you can't sell these either. Like people that are good at selling insurance sell these at a high rate because they know how to sell insurance. Because you still have to sell the insurance. It still has to be sold. It's not just, hey, we put this ad up, people want it, and they just jump in the boat and there's no resistance at all. Like that's not really what's going to happen. And so there's still going to be objections. You're still going to have to sell the insurance. You're still going to have to find what their why is. You're still going to have to figure out what they can qualify for. You're still going to have conversations with people about their beneficiary. You're still going to have to get them to trust you enough to give you their social security number and their bank account information. And you've got to build a strong enough relationship with the people that they are going to have the money in the bank when the third of the month comes for that policy premium to be drafted. And so there is no shortcut to selling the insurance. What this is a shortcut to is giving you the ability to be on the phone all day with people that are interested in protecting their family when they pass away. Um, that's what this is about. And so you have to treat the calls right. Like you have to treat the people on the other end of the phone like somebody that you care about their family, that cares about their family, and wants to make sure that their family isn't burdened when they pass away. That's the biggest thing. Some of the things that we've noticed listening to these, Shanti, is like that 90-second buffer. People treat that completely the wrong way. Like I have people that I'll listen to the call, and we're going to play some calls on this so you guys can hear what not to do. But there's people that'll get on the phone and say, Mary, how old are you? And she says 71. And say, hey, just so we don't waste your time, Mary, for a 71-year-old, it's going to be between $98 and $158 a month. How's that sound? Like you can't do that in 90 seconds. Your goal isn't to get off the phone with people as quickly as possible if they aren't ready to buy. Your goal is to make sure they meet minimum criteria so that you can stay on the phone long enough to build enough value to get them to make a decision to protect their family. That's what it is. We do not have a correlation in this between people getting off the phone and being really profitable. The ones that are most profitable are the ones that are taking most of the calls past 90 seconds. And on the predictive side, when that's happening, Shanti, what you're saying is the more calls you take past 90 seconds, the less calls you're going to get of people thinking that it's free. Oh,
Correct.
good. Okay.
That's the way that
So,
our algorithm is designed to match the conversion rates of the sellers with the buyers appropriately.
and the other thing that people need to understand is if you're brand new and you get on our platform and 15 calls go by and you get off the phone with all of those, if any of those calls were actually genuinely great prospects, what you're telling these platforms and what you're telling these media buyers is send us the complete opposite of those calls. So if you're not handling these calls right and you're turning away good prospects, you're telling these algorithms to go get you more bad stuff, which is crazy. So we're gonna dive into some of the recordings, but I want people to know, I think where this gets explained wrong is like when people get on the phone and they say something like, hey, I want to make sure, or I'm calling about the free $25,000. We have a script that works. And where people get in trouble is they get away from the script. So in this boot camp, we're going to put the script and we're going to show you some examples of people that follow the script and what that looks like. And then we're going to show you some examples of people that wing it. If your goal is to wing it or try to vet these people or try to cherry pick, it's not going to work. If your goal is to try to not spend money, you have no shot at making it in the insurance industry. This is not designed for people who are trying to not spend money. It just won't work out. So I'm trying to drive this home. What else should I talk about? Oh, some bad stuff that people do. All right. So there's certain things that people can't do that will never be tolerated at all. Okay. Um, One of those things is talk about what you have in place to make sure that the buyers aren't ripping the system off. What are some of the things you have in place there?
Sure. Well, we have, we've got flags that will, the initial flags that will pop up is that the conversion rate of calls, so if it's already been, 30 some odd calls and there hasn't been one converted call, that's a flag that will go up. And we have, basically AI that's constantly listening and transcribing calls. And it's become very smart on this specific category of insurance to where it knows if it's been, if it's a qualified call or if there's a deviation from the scripting. And there's certain flags that will pop up in reporting. And we try to, catch that and work with the agents on ways that we can improve. It's designed to improve the entire marketplace. For both, we want the agents closing more policies, and we want the quality ads out there to get more more exposure and drive more leads for you guys.
Yeah. And so if people are getting off the phone at a minute and 25 seconds, and that's like the technology is smart enough to know if you're calling them back. Like they'll catch you. And if we find people that are hanging up on good leads and calling them back and trying to sell them so they can't get paid, like you will be permanently banned from the platform. We won't tolerate that at all. There's been several that we've had to do that to for that reason already. Because we can't let one person, one bad actor bring down everybody. It's just not fair to everybody else. Um, the other thing is, the other thing that won't be tolerated is you got to understand that all these calls are transcribed and recorded, and they're quality controlled on multiple sides. Several people on the integrity side, the management side of Family First Life, also on Ringba with quality control agents, AI, and management. So everybody has access to all of these. So if you think you get away with something by cheating on one of the calls, it will eventually catch up to you. And I just want to make sure. And sometimes what they do is they'll let you sink a little bit lower so that they have a ton of evidence. And so just don't make bad decisions and do the right thing by people. What else do people do that they shouldn't be doing in that regard, Shanti?
Uh, I know that, sometimes there's fatigue with, on the phone all day. And, sometimes you can lose your patience with people. But if we hear, any sort of rudeness, or, profanity towards a senior,
Profanity.
we will flag that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And
Um,
yeah, just quoting, trying to squeeze in a quote under 90 seconds. Words like, just so you know, this isn't free, right? That's a flag that goes up.
yeah, consistently. Now that's not like,
System.
if it's if the script says this is Trey on a recorded line, are you calling about life insurance or final expense coverage? And they say final expense coverage, and I say, I'll do my best to find the most affordable monthly rate, okay? And they say, okay, don't keep going on going, well, just so you know, it's not free. It does cost money. Do you have a bank account? Like, it's too much. And you got to start thinking the people that have transitioned from not doing well to doing well really are the people that just completely forget about the 90 seconds. Like, I got a person on the phone that's interested in final expense. They're okay with me finding them the most affordable monthly rate. They're in my state and they're under the age of 85. Now I'm going to slow down and sell insurance the way I've always sold insurance. And if you do that, you're out of so many calls, out of so many billable calls. out of 10 billable calls, you are going to close so many of them. We know what those numbers are succinctly, actually. We know what they are pretty specifically. Where people struggle and where they don't do well is when they're not taking enough calls billable and they're just trying to cherry pick the one that's like, hey, yeah, I could spend $175 a month. And what you're going to find is a lot of those don't go through anyway because there's no value. And that's usually a sick person that you tell them it's $175. Well, they're going to be a guaranteed issue policy. It's probably be $325. You just told them a price $120 cheaper than the last person, but they have Alzheimer's or they're on kidney dialysis. So they can't get what you just quoted them. So even if you put it through, it's not going to go through anyway. So it just wastes a lot of time. It burns a lot of calls. It hurts everybody else on the platform, and it's dragging everybody else down. So hopefully, have I beat that to death yet or no?
I think you did
I
a good
think we
job.
did a good job. Okay. Um, let's talk about a hard number and expectations. So, one of the things we talked about, Shanti, and with the on the integrity side, and we've talked about it with you, is over a 50 call running total. If somebody is under a $5 RPC, then they're going to be turned off. Like we're going to turn those people off. We might raise that. That might be under $8 for 50 call total, but we're going to set an expectation right off the bat. Your goal should be taking 3 calls out of every 10 calls past 90 seconds. Now, if the people are hanging up on the agent, Shanti, and they're following the script, now somebody said to me, they go, well, they're all hanging up on me. I know, dude, but you're not saying what the script says to say. So from the agent perspective, I want you guys to listen to me. If you're reading the script and you're actually reading it, not just pretending to, and you're genuinely doing it the right way, if 10 people hang up on you, it might be a problem with the publisher.
Mhm.
We could probably make that case. But if you're telling people, I'm with the insurance department or I'm with the Department of Insurance, one guy said he was with the Department of Insurance. If we hear any kind of lying like that, like we're going to cut you off too. We can't, the calls are being recorded, guys. Like you have to be honest. You can't pretend like you're with a government agency. People have said a ton of that. Is there dead air in the first 20 seconds? Should we stick with it or hang up? What do you do about dead air calls, Shanti?
Sometimes that's going to happen because there is a certain time that it takes to connect the call. And, a lot of times people have a limited attention span or they're busy doing something else and they'll call and then they want to save the number to maybe call back when it's a more convenient time, but then they'll have it in their phone history. So that's usually what that is. If there's nobody on the line, go ahead and get off the phone.
Yeah. And see, the reason why we say taking 3 out of 10, this is what the expectation really is. If it's dead air, if the people are hanging up on you as soon as they find out it's not free, like there ain't a whole lot you could do about that. But that's why you have to be on point when you get one that's staying on the phone. Like
Yeah.
you're not looking for ways to get out of it. If they're staying on the phone and you get off the phone at 2 minutes and you have to pay for that one, well, take one for the team, right? That's going to keep you in good quality so that you're not telling the AI to listen to everything so that you're not having issues with your call volume and the quality. The goal is 3 out of 10, no matter what. If y'all do that, you're literally checking all the boxes you're checking 80% of the boxes to make sure that you're getting good, clean traffic, high quality calls, a high volume of calls. And then also talk about the predictive routing part of it as well, Shanti. As this thing runs, the people with the higher RPCs that are converting more sales, because we can track that data as well, those people are the ones that are getting the most of the calls,
Correct.
correct?
They'll have stronger call flow, better quality calls.
Which is what you want. But if you're getting off the phone all the time, or you're looking for reasons not to talk to people, or looking for reasons to get off the phone with people, and you're hanging up on them, which a lot of people are doing, especially the new agents that are getting on, then you're gonna ruin your score and you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. And it's not gonna work long term anyway. So hopefully that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I think what we came up with is 50 calls, under a $5 RPC, which means you're taking 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 is unacceptable. It's not, it's not sustainable. It won't work. All right. So if that happens one time, we're going to temporarily pause you. We're going to send you through some remedial training. If it happens again, we're going to pause you for a week, and we're really going to spend some time training you on how to handle the calls. And then if it happens a third time, you won't be able to participate on the platform. And that's not us being rude. It's just us protecting this relationship and this lead source and trying to stay ahead of it and put us in Family First Life and integrity in a position where we really have the stranglehold on the marketplace. That's what we're trying to do. And we're fortunate to have a partner like Ringba that's working with us on it. But what I'm also going to do is play some calls so you guys can hear. So here's a couple of examples of good calls and bad calls. And we're just going to talk about this. All right. So here's good calls. All right. Let's do bad examples first.
Interested in life insurance or
All right. Can you hear this? Here we go.
hello, this is on a recorded line. Are you interested in life insurance or final expense coverage?
Final expense coverage.
Okay. I can definitely help you with finding the most affordable monthly payment. Is that all right with you?
Monthly payment?
Yes.
It was worded differently from that in your ad.
What did it say?
Give you. We will
No,
give you.
yeah. I apologize. I don't know what they're putting on there. The only thing I'll be able to give you is the quotes, and then I can obviously help you with finding the most affordable coverage. But I mean, obviously, nothing's free.
Well, I was hoping.
Yeah.
What is the monthly charge?
So the monthly payments, I'd say on average, usually start at $50 a month to like $150 on average. There's obviously some higher, some,
Okay.
Did you have a good idea of how much you were budgeting?
Wait a minute. 50 a month times 12 is how much per year?
600.
600.
That's a minute 26, and he hung up.
Life insurance, correct?
All right. So let's talk about that one. She thought it was free. He starts talking to her about the ad, trying to figure out what's wrong with the ad. Okay, that's not the right way to do it. Then he ropes her into a price range before 90 seconds. She said, I was hoping it was free. She obviously knows it's not now. But rather than go through and do it the right way, it's like, hey, I need to see if this woman is a serious buyer. And so he tries to give her a price. And while she's calculating, because he's thinking in his head, well, she's thinking about how much it is a year. So I'm not going to sell this one. So I'm just going to beat the buzzer and not get off the phone before 90 seconds. Like that was not the right way to do that. Now I'm going to show you a good example of how to handle it. All right. Good example.
In life insurance or final expense coverage?
Final expense.
This is Leo.
Pretty much the same thing.
This is Leo with the life insurance department on a recorded line. Are you interested in life insurance or final expense coverage?
Final expense coverage.
All right, great. So I can definitely help you find the most affordable monthly payment. Okay?
Or isn't that one where you enroll for it and they give you an amount to take care of your burial?
Yeah, so I'm assuming like most people you wanted to make sure you just didn't leave a financial burden for your family when you pass away, right? That's why you called in?
Yes.
Yeah, so the good news is that the plans are designed for seniors on a fixed income or limited income. What state are you calling from and how old are you?
California,
Okay.
and I'm 64.
64. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Yes.
How do I spell that? All right. My name is Leo. I'm a licensed life insurance agent in the state of California, and I'll be taking care of you today. What's the best callback number in case we get disconnected?
The this the one I'm calling you on?
559.
479.
All right, perfect. And are you able to receive text messages to that number, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have actually, what's your approximate height and weight?
My height was 6'1",
Mm-hmm.
and my weight was 280.
This is
Now,
Brianne
Leo
from the Life
sold that
Insurance
one.
Department.
Leo sold that one for $127 a month AIG. Like that was a sale. That was somebody that thought it was free. What did he do? He said, I'm assuming like most people, you just wanted to make sure your family was protected when you passed away, right? And he said, yeah, that's why I'm calling. And then he said, the good news is the plans are designed for seniors on fixed and limited incomes. Let's get your information, figure out what state you're in, and see what you're eligible for. And then he just went back to the script. It's just like if you guys are outbounding, you would do the same thing. Like if somebody battled you and said, I don't remember filling that out, and you'd been dialing for 3 hours and you paid $40 for the lead, you would say, well, that's okay. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. When you did fill it out, were you trying to get more insurance? Did you do it because you don't have any? Or are you just trying to beat the rate that you already got? Like that's what you would do. And you would just keep moving. You wouldn't go, okay, well, it's $117 a month. Do you want it? Right? Like you wouldn't do that because you'd already paid for the call. You'd already paid for the lead. So that's how y'all need to treat these. You treat it like you already paid for it, not looking for ways not to pay for it. So hopefully that makes sense. Um, this site that I'm on is callvault.net. We're going to post this in the required agent training. And by the time this goes live on the Integrity site, there'll be a dozen or so more examples on there. I want to go back to one other bad example, and that's the buzzer beating example.
You're calling about the life insurance, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. This is a recorded line. Were you looking to get something set up today, or were you just looking for more information?
Well, is this is there, does this cost any money or what? What is
Yes,
it?
it costs money. It's life insurance.
Well, how much,
Awesome. How many years young are you?
I'm 78.
And how much coverage did you want?
Well, it depends on how much it is, I suppose.
All right, so we'll just start out at $15,000. $15,000 of coverage will be right around $130 a month. Is that doable?
Oh, well, I'm paying $100 for 10,000.
You definitely be getting a better deal over here.
Yeah. Well, what company is this?
Is this something you're trying to make a decision on today, or are you trying to push it out a little bit?
Yeah, well, I'd like some information.
Okay, because we usually work with people who are trying to get something set up today, so does that sound like something you'd be trying to do?
No, I guess not. I was just.
Right.
Hello.
So anybody that sells insurance for a living, that's the most cringeworthy thing I've ever heard in my life. Like that person doesn't even sell insurance anymore, I'm pretty sure. Um, Crazy. So anyway, these are some good and bad examples. I'm going to show you another good one, just so you can hear what happens when you follow the script. Follow the
Life
script.
insurance or final expense?
This is Brianne with the Life Insurance Department on a recorded line. Are you calling for life insurance or final expense coverage?
Final expense coverage.
Great. I can help you find the most affordable monthly payments. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. And are we purchasing the insurance for yourself or for a loved one?
For myself.
Okay, my dear. What is your resident state and your date of birth?
I'm in Georgia. October 2019.
Okay. And what's your first and last name?
It's Penny, P-E-N.
Okay, my dear. Is this the best callback number in case we're disconnected?
Yes, ma'am.
And then do you receive text messages on this phone number?
I do.
Okay, great. And what is your approximate height and weight?
I am 270 pounds 270 pounds, and my birthday is October 28th.
And what's your height?
5'7".
How tall? Okay, got it. Perfect. And do you use any tobacco or nicotine products?
90
No,
seconds.
ma'am.
No rush.
And do you currently have existing life insurance or final expense coverage?
I do, but it runs out at the age of 70.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so you have like a term insurance. So it sounds
Yes.
like getting coverage is very important to you. So that way, God forbid something happens, your loved ones won't have to come out of pocket to cover your expenses. Does that sound about right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you single or married?
I'm single. My husband passed.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences. Now the way
Yeah. So Brienne sold that one for $100 a month too. That was 100 and something. It was 106, something like that. I only post ones where I know they sell. So I go all the way to the end. I listen to it get sold. That was a sale. Um, Hopefully y'all are seeing this. When you're not rushing, you're following the script, you're putting the person first, you're talking about what it's going to do for their family, you're treating them like a human being, and you're not just trying to make a commission. It tends to work out and they tend to trust you. So that's all. What do you think about that, Shanti? Is there anything you wanted to add there?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's already a sensitive subject as it is. Thinking about your arrangements when you pass. So, definitely adding that layer of a human. You imagine yourself on the other line. If it's clear that the other person only cares about the money, are you sure you can afford it? Can you afford this? I mean, what a turn off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's akin to the person that's going to the car dealership.
Yeah.
Like if you picked up the phone and you called something, it doesn't, it means you're interested, but you're also skeptical of what you're going to get on the other end. So they're sizing you up too.
Yeah.
And these people aren't stupid. They're not. They're sizing you up too. So you you can't just attack folks like that. Like if it's too aggressive, it's just going to push them away, just like it would push you away. Just like if you put one toe on the car lot and four people run at you and go, "Hey, you want to do a test drive?" What do you say? "Well, I'm just looking." No, you came to the car lot to buy. Nobody goes to just look at cars. Like you want to buy, but you just don't want to be pounced on. That's the same kind of thing with this. So you just got to treat people right and not have commission breath and just put them first. The same way that we built Family First Life, that's how we did it. And so hopefully that makes sense. Anything else you want to talk about, Shanti?
No, I think we covered a lot. Just that it's the more you do it, the better you get. And, not to get discouraged that we've seen, I've seen, after Trey's worked with a couple folks and been able to turn around, some of the lowest RPCs. Now there are top earners that we see on the platform. So, it was a miraculous within a week. So.
Right. It was just
Yeah,
a mindset thing.
it's a mind flip.
So what's the top age, Shanti? 85? If they're over 85?
85 is the cutoff. So keep in mind in certain platforms, like for example, Meta, it's 65 plus when you're targeting for ads. So there's no like top cutoff. But often in the ads it will say, are you between the ages of 50 and 85 or 50 and 80? However, you always want to make sure you're verifying the state and age early on during the buffer time.
Before the 90 seconds. And
Yeah.
look, if you've had 7 calls in a row that didn't go through and you get somebody on the phone that's 87 and you might be able to sell them Aetna, even though it usually doesn't work, that's one of the ones you take over 90 seconds. Because if they'll stay on the phone with you for 90 seconds, if it's me and I've had 7 people hang up or whatever, I'm going to take that one past 90 seconds. I'm going to pay for the call. I'm going to chalk that one up and I'm going to keep rolling. Because the thing that we've noticed, because we track this data, there's agencies within FFL that have done calls for a while, and it's basically a 4 to 5x return consistently. And so if you're spending 500, you're issuing $2,000 to $2,500. So if you take 40 calls, that's $8,000 to $10,000 issue paid. Now, if you have 100 calls and you take two, it's going to take you a long time to get to 40 calls for the week. You're going to ruin your score, get kicked off the platform, and not have the ability to get better. So if it's me, what I'm trying to do is take a minimum of 3 out of 10 calls, no matter what, and that's it. Now, if you've done a good job taking calls and Mary's 87 years old, you can't help Mary, right? That's the way you got to look at it. Hopefully, what I just said made sense right there.
I did want to while you're looking at your talking points, I did want to note, like, to reinvest in yourself and your expanding the state list. We do find also that people who have multiple states tend to do better as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't generally waiting a long time, but the people that don't wait hardly at all are the people that have 30, 40 states. Like, your phone will ring all day long. When is the 30-second buffer going live? Let's talk about the short duration calls, Shanti. And why is that so beneficial?
Sure. So we're going to be launching a short duration call, basically long enough to get the customer on the phone and confirm the state. And the purpose of that is to remove that buffer time, so that you've already bought in that lead. When we found that when agents know that they bought the lead and they have it, they're going to work it as hard as they can. And we just have seen that their conversion rate to policies is so much higher. And you're also paying less for that lead on the upfront. So that cost per acquisition for that customer goes down. So we're really excited to roll that out. And I think you guys are going to like that a lot, that new product.
And it allows confidence from the seller side to be able to send us leads that are more intentional, that they've invested more in creating, because they know we're going to end up taking more of them. So we've tested with a beta group. Yesterday, we sold in that beta group 1 out of 3, which is the best day we've ever had. Yeah, I was only 6 people, but they were selling all day, and 1 out of 3 they were closing. And those were on 30 seconds. Now, the cool thing about the 30 seconds that I like is the mindset is immediately different. It's like, hey, what state are you in? How old are you? You're good. We're going to keep rolling. And they just treat it like a lead. They get to know the people. They do it the right way. And it works out just like any other insurance lead. On veteran leads, like data leads that we're buying, those are 35, 40 bucks. And there's 60% of them, you never get them on the phone. And y'all dial all day. And we still kill it. Like, we're 5x in our money. We're killing it. People are hitting Hall of Fame, writing $300,000-$400,000 a year, $500,000 a year off these vet leads, and 60% of them never answer. The hardest part in this business is getting people on the telephone, and that is the biggest problem that this solves. So you got to give people a little bit of grace. Don't be so harsh. Don't be so quick to be like, I'm losing my money. No, you're not. That's part of the marketing with the people that weren't going to get it. Like, you're not going to sell them all, but you don't need to sell them all in order to make a lot of money doing this. In order to make a lot of money doing this, you just need to have conversations with people all day that are interested in protecting their families. And if you do that consistently, and that's one thing this can do, you can have a dozen conversations before noon every single day. And the people that have transitioned into this full time, just taking inbounds, it has dramatically changed their whole outlook on the insurance industry. So I want y'all to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but you're going to have to change your mindset some. There's going to be some hardcore expectations and standards that we're going to stick to in order to protect and preserve it for the rest of everybody else. And we're for you, we're not against you. If you end up getting temporarily banned or paused or whatever we call it, it's not punitive. It's to help you get better and get better at handling the calls so that you could do this for a long period of time. Because I've had people that I've been working with for 6 months that were the worst offenders, and now their RPC number is $26, $27. There isn't a call that would not get sent to you for a $27 RPC. They can ask on the ad, what is your social security number? And what is the name of your first grandchild? And like, then send you that call. Like, that's how intentional that call is. So the higher your RPC, the better this works for everybody. And you only get that by taking a ton of calls past 90 seconds. All right, when are we going to go live on Sundays? What has to happen for that, Shanti?
We need a lot of agents on board to do that cover a good amount of states. Because right now, there's really no major insurance agencies that are buying call leads that are open on Sundays. So it would be a custom built campaign for you guys. So in order to do that, we just have to have a lot of buy-in in order to launch that. So multiple agents, multiple states with good coverage.
Actually available and on.
Yeah, and during certain hours, they have to be committed to certain hours, almost like how a call center would operate.
Right. Because the most costly thing for the publisher is sending calls to nowhere. There's nobody to back us up. So if nobody answers the phone, they just lose money at an alarming rate.
Yeah, we did a small pilot on that, and what we did find that it was there's just too much inconsistency with the state coverage across agents and then who was logging in at what time. So we did put that on pause, but we did find that it performed very well in a sense of, from the ad campaigns, there's very little competition in the market. And then also, it seemed to have really long call durations, which is a sign that there's some policies getting closed.
Yes, amen to that. Who's fresh? Would you recommend outbound at first? No. If you're brand new and you understand the rules and you're ready to comply with it, go ahead and start on inbounds. There's nothing wrong with that. We have a ton of agents that are literally just reading the script that do well. And so I think it's a great place for somebody to start. And this is also an awesome thing for people to do part-time. We've never really had a part-time opportunity at Family First Life. But we do now. We have agents on this call now that part-time are doubling their household income while their babies are taking naps because they can set themselves live and then the calls come in, but they're handling the calls properly. All right. Well, thank you for this, Shanti. This was awesome. You guys have a great day. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys.